Okay. I just want to get this out there really quick, okay? We need to be really careful. I know people are using the word matrix a lot, and it's not without reason. Like, it's a real thing, okay? But like saying things like none of this is real and it's all just holographs and stuff. We need to be really, really careful with that kind of language because it does bother me a little bit how fine the line is between skirting between um, waking up to what's reality versus denying reality. And just that word is tricky anyway. What is reality? I mean, yeah, on a basic level, things are technically speaking a holograph insofar as just all matter is energy, is light traveling at a certain speed. So, like, it's not like there's like a nefarious puppeteer. I mean, there are puppeteers, but like not they're like God themselves is not like putting you in a machine necessarily. You chose to experience the closest thing to physical that you could be, and by all accounts, like this is still physicality. Okay, like yeah, we're all ultimately like different wavelengths of light, but we're not less substantial or less real. Our pain is not less real, okay? Certain problems don't need to be real, that we allow them to be real, but again, we need to be careful and we need to be like careful about, overly demonizing the idea of attachment, right? Because not all attachment is bad. Um, Attachment, quite frankly, it keeps you from being a fucking sociopath. So, um, at the same time, you do need a level of separation. But, the problem is finding the line, right? Because it's in that line between darkness and light. Let's just be clear. Not even darkness is truly, I think, ultimately an absence of light. Okay, like if you think of a black hole, okay, I guess technically speaking, it is an absence of light by definition, but like it's not a hole. It's a distortion in reality as a result of a congregation of mass that has just gotten so dense that gravity just like sucks everything in. It sucks light in. So technically, it has that light. It's just eating it. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like I don't know. Let me go back here. Okay, this is the best way I can explain this. Okay, so think of the movie The Matrix. It was really interesting actually because Keanu Reeves. Like I just happened on this short a little while ago where he was talking to some young girl, somebody's niece or something, and he was like telling her the plot of the Matrix, and then she's just like, well, so what if it's not real? And he was like, well, what do you mean? It's like, so what? I'm like, I'm kind of with her. That's the thing. First of all, do away with these ideas of like, is it real, is it not real? That is such a not useful question to ask because I don't think it's less real. Like it's don't casually dismiss stuff as being, oh, it's just a simulation, it's okay. Like, no, like what you're feeling is real. Look at it this way. If you genuinely were in a machine, okay, I don't mean like the spirit machine, okay, that we're in, okay, that's kind of weird. But anyway, when I say weird, I just mean like that's harder to explain. It's not that hard, but it's not what I'm focusing on this second. Um, if you were in exactly let's just translate it in a way that can be understood currently as we are right now, okay, or as you are right now. I don't want to make assumptions, okay, but if people are still thinking in terms of like a literal Matrix where you were literally hooked up to machine, that is a reality that we are hooked up to this machine and being fed poison and stuff and harvested, but that's more of a spiritual, like it's a reality that exists in spirit. That's not like the literal reality, okay? Like, I don't know, there's different levels to this because we're multi-dimensional. So we're consistently, whether you're aware of it or not, living on multiple planes of existence at any given time. So these are all real, okay? But living alongside each other, okay? But like if things genuinely were like they were in the movie The Matrix, where you were literally hooked up to a machine and this was like literally like just like a fabrication of your brain that you're hooked into or something, I want you to ask yourself this. If you were in a simulation that was by all accounts exactly identical to what a physical reality would feel like, the pain you feel, the feedback loop you get, the sensory inputs and outputs, like if it was indistinguishable, what makes it less physically real than if it was not that? What makes physical reality real? Okay, like, and again, attachments, let's not treat it like it's all a bad thing, okay? It's good to have some level of attachment so you don't just go like lose your sense of self and just like fly off the earth, okay? Like, you have to maintain some level of attachment to maintain your sense of self so that you can experience the privileges of physical existence, because there are privileges to physical existence or we wouldn't have fucking done it, okay? There are certain things you cannot experience if you've only ever been a spirit and not a physical person. And again, let's be careful to use words like real or not real. Like, why is it less real if we're all just expressions of light? Like, it's not less real, okay? In fact, you need for powerful beings to have attachments so that they can value you too. Like, I don't know if anyone's seen Avatar, The Last Airbender, but basically, the lore in that is that the airbenders used to be able to fly like indiscriminately, not just glide, because they didn't have attachment. But like the reason they lost that was because they discovered the sky bison and developed a bond with them, and that created an earthly attachment. That's actually very fucking wholesome. I'm sorry for the language, I just swear a lot. Like, but like, I wouldn't say it took anything from them. If anything, I would say that enriched their experience of existing. Like, like, isn't like the most wonderful aspect of being able to be alive is to like know and experience love for other things and for yourself, why do you think blood is so closely attached to love and even like love magic and love spells and stuff? Why chocolate, it represents blood and love, because that is like the red tie, that is the red thread that ties your attachments and your bond with other people that's already there. Like, you're not supposed to, it's supposed to feel bad when you see it. You're not supposed to like seeing it, okay? It's supposed to snap you out and remind you like we're all just the divine experiencing a physicality, I guess. We're just divinity experiencing itself and enjoying one of the most beautiful things about it, which is like knowing and experiencing love, whether giving it or receiving it, both, knowing it for yourself, knowing it for others, having other people express that to you too. Like, there's a reason it hurts to lose people. There's a reason it freaks you out when you see violence in front of you. And if it doesn't, I'm sorry, but you do need to reconnect. I'm like, obviously, there is a place in this world for people who can detach on that level. Like, I personally would not want like a surgeon to be freaked out by blood, right? Like you would want them to have that level of attachment so that they can do their job, you know? There's room for all of that. But the point is though, I don't like when people say things like, "Oh, it's not real anyway." Like because you don't know that you're doing it, but you in some ways you're kind of telling people like, "No, your pain didn't matter." Like it does matter. You just don't want, let me put it this way. Attachments, you just don't want the ones that stop you from growth, okay? You don't want the ones that hinder you. You don't want the ones that keep you stuck in a more limited frame of mind. But like attachments in and of themselves are not an evil thing, okay? Too much, just like anything. I mean, this is at least, and we'll say this about the Greeks, okay? They did get this right. The only true, like, quote unquote evil is excess, okay? Anything in excess is not good for you. Too much attachment is bad for you. Too little attachment is bad for you. And all we're trying to do, it's not that easy. It turns out it takes multiple lifetimes to get this. It's hard, okay? No one said it was easy, but you need to find that line, that sweet spot right in the middle there, where you value the things around you and you value your experiences and other people's experience, but at the same time not put so much stock in it to the point where you start devaluing. Like, you know, this is the best example I could come up with. It's like the Pac-Man syndrome. You go all the way to the end and you end up at the beginning. You overcorrect so much that you end up back at the start. So, you know, and I feel bad too because I feel like there's a lot of people who are like mentally unwell who are already preyed upon by people, like people harvesting from them. It's really cruel. Like there's people who are genuinely like harvested from and like followed and stuff, but like they don't believe birds are real. Like, and don't laugh, okay? I know it sounds funny, but it's sad to think like they doubt the reality so much to the point where they're scared of birds because they feel like they literally believe cameras are in their eyes. And it's like they're probably familiars or people abusing animals to be used by spirits as familiars because these people are very prone to being abused by these people because people just cast them off as crazy. But at the same time, you're not helping them when we're not careful with what we say and we just kind of reinforce those feelings of, oh, it's none of it's real anyway. Or, you know, it's just like, well, what does real mean? Like, what is real, you know? Oh boy, don't mind that. That's their way of celebrating here, I suppose. Anyway. Like at what point is something real and not real to you? You know, if it hurts, it's still real. Like hell, even if it didn't really happen, if you fucking felt it, like it's, you know, this is why we need more compassion in the medical industry. I'm not trying to make this about me, but it's true. There's a lot of like women who suffer from invisible chronic illness that's like, oh, it's just in your head. And it's like, well, yeah, it's a problem with spirit. It's not really their fault, but we find out more and more. It has a lot to do with CTPTSD. Did I say that right? CPTSD, or unresolved, you know, childhood or sexual abuse trauma. Sorry, trigger warning. But like that doesn't make it less real. All pain is in your head anyway. If you get pinched, that is a feedback loop that happens in your head, okay? So you could make the argument that's not real either. It's all in your head. But just because something is quote unquote psychological does not make it less real. If anything, that should incite more empathy, not less, okay? But it's true, you don't want to like assign your power to other things when you're just as powerful, if not more powerful than those external pressures, for sure. But at the same time, let's be so mindful when we say things like, oh, none of it's real anywhere, it's all simulation anyway. Like what? Okay, at what point can it be considered real then? Like at what point can it be physical enough to be meaningful, you know? Like, because I mean, I think it's pretty cool. Like, yeah, everything is just an expression of light, but like don't use the word just. I think that's really rad, okay? The fact that light just wants to keep going to the point where it can like manifest to become mass. Like that's pretty damn neat. I don't know, but is it less real? No. Every light's just energy. Energy, matter is energy. Like okay, like so yeah, it's not that these statements are necessarily untrue. It's just that it's the things unsaid that they carry with them that people might interpret. Like people who are a little bit less equipped to handle these like snippets, okay? They don't know how to interpret that in a way that is like good for them, okay? They might not be there yet. They still need to clear all these other things first before they jump to, oh yeah, it's all a simulation. Like yeah, it's a simulation in that like it's a divine play. We're all just extensions of the creator. We're just divinity experiencing itself. Like yeah, because well yeah. Can I tell you something? A lot of people think it's like cool to be able to predict things. And you know, it's not cool. It is cool, but like the further up you go, the more elevated you are, the more boring you find that. You actually love the experience of not being able to predict things, okay? Because like the more connected to the divine you are, the more all-knowing you kind of are. Like I'm not trying to be weird about it, but I'm just saying like I love when I can't predict shit. Like and I don't always predict things and I want it that way. I don't want, when I play a game, I try not to cheat because like it's boring. It's the dance, so to speak. It's not about the goal for us, because if you could just get the goal whenever you want, it's kind of boring. It's like when you play Stardew Valley and you start out with everything already, it just stops being fun immediately. I mean, for some people not, but like a lot of us, it's like it's about working up to that. It's about the process of getting to that. Like it's less about the goal and more about the process of getting to that goal and enjoying that process. You know what I mean? And I think that's what a lot of people in the 3D are still trying to understand, especially, like people who are more limited in their mindset. It's all about, like, especially people who love money, because that's really all they know how to quantify things is goal, set sales. Anyway, the double meaning there. Like, it does become like a game for them, but like almost one that's not rewarding because they're so fixated on the end point that they grumble about the actual process without realizing that no, it's actually the process itself that makes that even like fun and worth bothering with in the first place. Like, that's the thing. The more elevated you get, the less interesting it kind of is. So there is a blessing in being limited and being a limited mortal when you're really a powerful fucking being. It's actually great sometimes. Sometimes we actually actively want to feel more limited because it's more of an experience. It's more of an enriching experience. If you can just get whatever you wanted at the snap of your fingers, which you technically could, if you just, I mean, it's not, there's more to it than that a little bit, but, or if you just like knew the answer to everything all the time and you could just like win things effortlessly, it just becomes kind of boring. So, anyway, I don't know. I think I'm starting to digress a little bit, but like the point is, let's just be careful about saying stuff like, it doesn't mean anything anyway, or like no, it does still have meaning. It just some things should have less meaning than other things. Does that make sense? Some things absolutely should not have meaning. But we do attribute meaning to it for whatever reason, because there was a point in time where it made sense to do that. We no longer need that. So that's the thing, is we're trying to figure out right now, like, the difference, okay? And it's not necessarily useful to go to overcorrect and go all the way like nothing matters. Like, all right, chill out. Like, actually, it's the opposite. Everything matters. Okay, like, yes, some things don't matter or shouldn't matter as much as they do. But if anything, it should just show you every tiny thing you do. Like, I'm not saying this to torture yourself with, like, oh, did I hurt somebody or whatever, but I'm just saying, like, it's supposed to give you perspective. It's supposed to be like, you should care how you affect your surroundings. You should, okay? Don't care if other people are just insecure and they're just putting their insecurities on you and trying to suppress you, but at the same time, you also, there's a collective responsibility. It's a dance, you know. We need two to tango. You need to, like, be a team player. Like, you need to meet halfway. You need to, like, I don't know, like, you also don't just be a selfish asshole. I'm not saying that. Just don't sacrifice so much to the point where you're hurting yourself and it doesn't even help that person. You know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. Just, like, exercise your best judgment and reliability on yourself, but also be open to when you might be wrong about some things and be more sensitive about some people out there. They're still not quite there. Like, we can't baby them, it's true, but there are some people that need a little bit more babying than others. And I'm talking specifically about people who might be more mentally, like, disadvantaged, okay? Like, because these people, I feel truly awful for them. They suffer so badly in their lives because they are just preyed upon so much, and they run wild with these fears and stuff. And, like, just let's just be responsible with our words. Our words are powerful. Okay? They are very fucking powerful. Words are powerful. If they were not powerful, that wouldn't be the primary tool of governments the world over. More than just brute force is. Propaganda is way more powerful than, like, guns ever will be. Okay, that's why they invest so much in it. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. I don't know who's gonna watch this, but I just wanted to clarify that if anyone needed to see that, because has been bothering me a little bit. Anyway, love you. Bye bye.